There's also 2001 was the year of my very first cease and desist order. It was we did this thing called the Halo Olympics. And apparently you can't tack on Olympics onto anything, otherwise the Olympics get really mad and they're pretty litigious. So it was a very short run exercise where we do live Halo competitions up at the village. And there was a couple guys there that were pretty goddamn good at Halo. I was like, look at these guys, they're pretty good. They're pretty nice fellas. And then lo and behold, a couple years later, it's like, oh my gosh, how we were actually in the presence of genius, of damn near celebrities. So that was the OG posse from Rooster Teeth, kind of flexing a little bit with Halo before we started watching the videos and loving this brand. And I think about Austin and my time here. I moved here in '97, and the cultural forces that have been in my lifetime here. Willie Nelson's still here. There was, Leslie was quite a kind of a force on 6th Street. Richard Linklater, certainly Robert Rodriguez, but also Rooster Teeth. The entire engine that was built in this town. It's staggering, and it's difficult in the wake of it to think about something so amazing that is no longer. So. I don't want us to turn this into like a tear fest or anything like that, but my perspective of being here today is just harken back to what an amazing thing happened here in Austin, Texas, and to celebrate everybody that was a part of it and was touched by it. So cheers to Rooster Teeth. We're gonna watch a movie, and then we're gonna have a Q&A. And I feel like normally I tend to just take the majority of the questions myself, but I feel like there's some people in the audience today that might have scintillating questions. So think about it. I'm going to be audience heavy in the Q&A. Mr. Matt Hullum is here, and we'll be back after the film. Enjoy. We'll see you in about I don't know what. Hour and a half is typically what movies last. Whenever it is, we'll see you back here. Don't leave. We're going to have a nice conversation afterwards. Thanks. Together for co-creator Mr. Matt Hullum and voice of Sarge and so many other things. So that was very sweet in a sincerely irreverent Rooster Teeth kind of way. So that's lovely. So I figure maybe we'll start off just talking about some olden days and some memories about the entire experience. Is that all right?
Yeah, well, might be my own.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe we can pass it around. There might be an on switch on there.
Is that better? There we go.
There we go.
I just wanted to say, before we got started, thanks to you and the Alamo for everything you've done for us over the years, because I feel like we grew up, with this loving embrace of the Alamo right in our backyard and having so many shows with y'all. I remember being in Colorado and how often we played season 1 there. It was really amazing, and just got to meet so many fans for the first time in that venue. And then, starting RTX with y'all, this being our first RTX location was just really special. So it's wonderful to be here back. We've shown all our movies, I think, first at the Alamo.
Every last one of them.
Damn one of them. And, just really appreciate everything you said at the beginning. I mean, actually, to be compared to Leslie,
yeah, you had to put all the greats, all the Oscar greats in there.
That's something right there. So I'll take that. And we're really glad to have been a part of the culture of Alamo too.
Well,
so
it's been a wonderful partnership, and we've certainly grown rather gray and tired over the years, but that's another story. So
yeah, I'm so gray and tired. I died 3 times on screen. Did you catch the third one? Sarge, Doc, and Omega was my last one, so he just kind of got blasted away there. So I think that's our trivia. That's a good trivia thing, right? Matt Hullum dies 3 times in one Red vs. Blue movie.
So thinking about the entire spectrum of Red vs. Blue, what's the thing you're absolutely most proud about?
We have to keep doing it for 2 more years. It's really crazy to think about. I was still living in LA when we started it, and I I was just talking to a friend the other day who actually got to have a small part in the beginning of this, and we were working together a lot in LA at the time. And I said, I'm moving back to Austin, gonna do this, try this red versus blue thing and Rooster Teeth with my buddies, and we'll see what happens. And he was like, okay, and we were working in traditional Hollywood back then. And he said he turned to his wife as soon as I left, and he was like, well, we'll see him in 3 months. And it really could have been, we could have tried it, and then like it just poof, overnight. And thankfully people liked it, and we just felt so thrilled when we would go and meet people in real life that we knew from the internet. And it was just amazing, to meet people all around the world who seemed to connect with it.
When did you know in those early days that it was something, it was going to be sustainable, that you weren't going to be back in LA in 3 months? Was there like a milestone moment?
Oh man, Burnie sent everybody checks at the end of the year in 2003, and I didn't even think anything of it. Like I got the check and I was like, oh, I'll open this later. Like it was like, oh, I probably got $50 or something. And then it's like, oh my God, we can live on this. Is like when I finally opened the check, And he was like, yeah, why did you take so long to get to open that? And it just felt like, right away people were connected with it online, we would talk about how it was like, just unbelievable. Like the first one came out and then, thousands of people saw it. And then the second one, like tens of thousands. And the third, like over 1 million. And it was downloads back then, right? You couldn't even watch stuff literally streaming. So who knows how many it was. And I don't know, it was wild.
So what's the next chapter for you?
What's the next chapter? Man, I barely finished this chapter.
Come on.
I love doing this. I was thinking about, Burnie and I just met 30 years ago. And we did a bunch of stuff before Rooster Teeth. Made a whole feature film that nobody ever saw before that. So maybe I'll make some more feature films that nobody sees after this. I don't know. I'd love to keep doing stuff and keep writing and directing, more movies and shows and things. And, a lot of the gang from Rooster Teeth has gone off and they're doing their own thing. Jeff's got his podcast and Burnie's got a podcast and everybody's doing stuff. So I think you'll see more of everybody. And I don't have anything to plug, but I'll plug something. I'll come back and plug something.
We'll be ready. Burnie is now, by all accounts, sort of a reclusive hermit.
Burnie's always been good at cultivating a brand and a persona, so yeah, he's entered the mysterious, most interesting man in the world phase of his life, I think.
But you guys are still obviously working together on things. How often do you talk to Burnie?
Oh, text with him. It seems sometimes every day. It just depends. It's different now because he's all over the place and you don't know where he is. But it was a great time getting together with him to work on this, and spent a lot of time in person in the early stages. Working on writing this and developing it. And it initially started as a project for our 20th anniversary because we had our 20th anniversary of Rooster Teeth in 2023. And then we were like, let's do this right. Let's make a whole feature out of it. And it had been reported some places that it was a series that could turn into a feature, but it actually started as a feature. And at some point we thought, well, we'll have to break it up into episodes for the website. And guess what? We didn't have to break it up into episodes for the website because there's no more website. There's just this.
Those are awkward silence.
Yeah. Too soon? Hey, we have a bunch of people here, cast and crew, too, in the back, and some of them are probably better at answering red versus blue questions than I am. If someone want to come down.
Come on down. These microphones can be passed around. Anybody who's associated with the film and red versus blue in general, come on down, and then we can open it up to the audience and get deep and granular if you like. Or Matt can answer everything.
Or so. Yeah, I'll just keep going.
No, so people are rising. But tell you what, while folks are coming on down, yes, right, come on.
I know some of these cool cats.
So, do some introductions. We'll just stand.
I'll let you guys
who needs to
introduce yourselves. Oh my God. It's getting wild in here. Kyle?
Yeah, I'm Kyle Taylor. I've worked on Red vs. Blue for a long ass time now. I don't even remember how long. But yeah, I worked, did Machinima, visual effects on this, and edited a little bit of editing, so yeah.
My name is Josh Ornelas. I lost a $10,000 game of Tetris, and my consolation prize was working on Red vs. Blue for over 10 years.
We might need to hear the rest of that story.
I'm Hector Gonzales, and I worked at Rooster Teeth for a long time doing like equipment and producing. But I guess like a hidden talent I had that not a lot of people knew is that I did fight choreography. So I ended up doing all the choreography for the last fights, all of the fight scenes. There was some of it that was already storyboarded, but then there was a lot of stuff that Matt was like, "Can you come up with some other stuff?" So I was fortunate enough to be able to do that.
It was sick. I'm Miles Luna. I worked on Red vs. Blue for a little bit there, and I was the bad guy in this movie. And we were both meta. And yeah, no, this is super cool. I'm gonna just.
Well, the first question actually is from a member of the audience, not me, because I was sitting right there. But tell me about the $10,000 game of Tetris.
So we did a game show, or y'all did a game show called The Gauntlet a long time ago, and I auditioned. That's my first introduction into Rooster Teeth. And basically, I made it all the way to the finals, and I dropped the ball at the last step.
Yeah, but you gained employment with Rooster Teeth. Surely you've made at least $10,000 by now.
I had a weird moment where at the time I was production intern or something. I don't know what I was doing at Rooster Teeth, but I was editing that show that Josh was on. And so my job every day for weeks was to stare at your face as well as many others. And y'all came in one day and I like fangirled out. I was like, "That's Josh Ornelas, he made it to the final round. Oh my God."
Made it to the final round and fucked up.
All right, so actually I didn't pay for my ticket, so I did. We'll actually throw it out to people who, in the audience there. Anybody got any questions? Any of the folks up here? Right. Oh, there's a lot. I mean, it's sort of generally, it must be a dark T-shirt because I can't see past your head. Yeah, that's you.
I think I heard a Barenaked Ladies song in there, and I'm also like a big fan of them and everything you guys have done. I was kind of curious about the relationship there and what you might want to share.
Yeah. So I'll repeat the question just in case y'all can't hear him. So he heard a Barenaked Ladies song, and wanted to explore because there's a relationship there. Maybe tell us a little bit more about the relationship with the band and Rooster Teeth.
Yeah, they've been super great to us over the years. They actually just, towards the end of season 1 or maybe mid-season 2, they just reached out and said, "We really like your show. This is Ed Robertson from the Barenaked Ladies. Have you heard of us? We had this one really big hit song and a bunch of other hit songs, and we're like, oh yeah, we know who you are for sure." And we had all been big fans. We grew up, in that era where they were huge, and thankfully we just started doing stuff with them. We actually made a bunch of Red vs. Blue videos for one of their tours. And they would, because they've always done like cool like audiovisual things, and they'll play different fun kind of artistic or weird videos during their shows. And we made a bunch of Red vs. Blue videos for one of those tours back in like 2005, I think it was. And then we just started doing stuff with them, and I directed a bunch of music videos for them over the years. And then Ed will always send over like the albums when they're working on them and getting close to releasing, and they sent for notes. He wants to know what I think. He sent this one over, and this was like.
Do you give notes?
Hell no. It's perfect, Ed. Again, you did it. And they sent this one over, and as soon as I heard that song, which is called "Waning Moon," I knew it was like, oh my God, this is perfect. And that scene had just kind of been sketched out. It wasn't even a full scene yet. And so it was just like one of those fortunate things that came together.
All right, I definitely saw another right there in the center. We'll keep. I'm going to start in the center, and then I'm going to spread out to the rest of the audience. Right? Yes. You.
So answer, but what is your favorite red versus blue season? You know, the one that you're gonna look at and say, I'm the most proud of this one.
So favorite red versus blue season, but we'll also open that up to moment as well. So I think everybody should probably answer that.
I mean, I like this one. I'm gonna go with this one. I think it worked out pretty well.
Let's see, aside from this one, because this was like the most technically like advanced we've got with machinima and animation and stuff, I would say selfishly season 14, because I got to direct a lot of episodes in season 14, including like the prequel ones with Sarge, where he came from, and all the reds and blues and how they got there. So yeah, that'd be mine.
I think for me personally, working with Kyle and Miles, season 12 was whenever I first joined with the company. I learned a lot, had a lot of fun, and was that when we did Sarge 2? Sarge 2, Sarge Harder PSA. Probably still one of my favorite things I've ever done at the company.
Mine was just also getting to work on this because I went to UT and I got here in Austin in 2002, and I remember I walked into Vulcan Video on the drag at like year 1 that I was there, and they were playing red versus blue, and I was like, what is this? And the guys behind the counter were like, it's a new thing, it's these people who are local, it's really cool. And then I was just in film school, and then I found myself there, and I got to work at RT for 6 years, and it was a lot of really fun time. But to end up, and we did all the performance capture, we did all that stuff before the announcement of shutting down. So just to be able to be a part of that, and then realize that that was kind of like a full circle moment, was really fantastic for me. So I really enjoyed it.
I think to answer your question, which season that I worked on that I was the proudest of, I think it's season 13. I mainly did like 11 through 13. I started on 9 as a Machinimator. What was we did like a straight to DVD, best of DVD. I think that was the first thing. Yeah. Anyways, but no, 13 was my favorite, just mainly because like, the course trilogy was really weird. It was kind of like, hey, we did all this really big freelancer stuff, and now season 11 is like, do a little machinima thing again. And I was really scared that nobody would like it. And then season 12, like the team got a little bit bigger. We had a whopping 2 animators on that one. Kyle and Josh were there. We did stuff that we shouldn't have in machinima that I regret, but I guess it was worth it. But season 13, those first 2 seasons, I was really stressed just all the time. I had a lot of really bad imposter syndrome, and I felt like I always had to have the answer to everybody's questions, and like needed to know what we were doing as a director showrunner. And season 13 was when I realized, oh, when you build a great team, you can come to them. Like, you can ask them, what do you think we should do? Because you're like our lead animator, you're our lead machinimator, you're our lead audio person. This is your specialty, and I'm gonna trust you as the person that's here with me to like come up with this. And so I feel like that season I learned to be a better director. But from best red versus blue moment, season 8, episode 10. Like the Tex fight, like that's just like, to me, it encompasses everything. It's got Monty's like craziness, the camera, the comedy's there, like the reds and blues are all there, Tex is kicking ass. Like to this day, I think that episode is just like delicious chef's kiss, red versus blue.
Very nice, very nice. All right, oh, a very enthusiastic hand and a sort of a Big Bird yellow shirt in the back.
Sorry, that's good. I have 2 questions actually. One from a friend of mine who couldn't be here because he's all the way across the country, and then one for me. Is that okay?
It's borderline okay. I mean, we're gonna. You put it in good context that your friend can't be here. If we like both questions, we'll answer both questions.
The first one is from him, and that is, how do y'all feel that red versus blue is done? I mean, this was a massive part of y'all's lives for like ever, and now it's over.
All right.
Very personal.
I don't know if we'd like that question or not, but it was, how do you feel?
So don't let go. That's the line. I feel like the line in that last scene is just Burnie writing, to all of us. I feel good about having a conclusion that felt appropriate for the show, and felt like it had stakes. And I think that was a big thing for me and Burnie both, is to feel like the ending would resonate, like because the characters completed their personal journeys, whatever that was for each of them. And 21 years is a hell of a long time. I did not think I'd be working on something where I'm bad at video games, so I didn't think I'd be working on turning a video game into a show for 21 years. But it's been great. So I feel lucky, I guess, is the shortest answer.
And it does feel like an all-play question. Maybe we'll pass the mic.
I mean,
We'll accept your question, sir, and you will be called back for the second question.
Actually, you already answered the second question. I was gonna ask what you think of the movie.
Oh yeah, we could ask them in parallel, then they can both.
Yeah, you did both already,
I don't think
so-
anybody's gonna say I thought the movie sucked. I think it was.
How do I feel about Red vs. Blue ending? I mean, I'm gonna echo what Matt said. Lucky to have worked on it for as long as I did. It was a lot of fun. Like, great friendships with all these guys. It's like, it was a lot of fun. So, you know, where it goes from here, I mean, who knows? I mean, as far as we know, it's done. So, yeah, but it was very lucky.
What he said. No, genuinely, this show has definitely helped me to elevate myself a lot, and I'm just grateful for Red vs. Blue just in general. And you know, now that it's over, you know, it's words are hard right now, and I'm trying to figure it out. So I'm gonna pass it over to you.
No, I agree. I'm very thankful to be able to have been a part of it, because I was in live action for a long time, which is a little bit different than obviously the animation department, but I would always see them working on some really amazing killer things. And I was really fortunate because I got to know a lot of the people in the company, because I wore a lot of different hats. And so the broadcast department, the animation department, every department, I would look at them and be amazed by them, and then eventually I got to work with all of them, and whether it was producing or whether it was doing this project. So I was just really happy and proud to be a part of it. And like I said, it was a real full circle moment to be there and working with Matt directly. I remember the day that Matt walked in, and I'd known Matt before, but like, I'm sitting there working with him, and he's telling me about Sarge, and I'm like, I know you're Sarge, you know. So it was a really cool moment for me. So it sucks, but I'm happy to have been a part of that in the end.
There's that kind of cheesy saying, but I wholeheartedly agree with it. It's something to the effect of like, don't be sad, it's over, be happy you were there. And that's definitely how I feel about Red vs. Blue, about Rooster Teeth. You said, you know, it's a chapter that's now over, but damn, what a good chapter. That's a chapter worth like rereading and reminiscing on from time to time. So I feel like, yeah, everybody else said, happy to be there for it. Really grateful, and grateful for stuff like this. What a weird, cool thing to do on a Monday night. That's because of Red vs. Blue. It's awesome.
Memorial
Everybody
Day of
that.
all days.
Yeah, of all days. But yeah, no, it brought so many people together all over the world, and that's something really special. And I thought the movie was all right. I liked it a lot.
Novelty hat in the summertime. Right. There we go.
I've got 12 friends who couldn't make it, so I'm getting them. Just a simple question. Matt, do you ever wonder why we're here?
Oh, that's a very simple question. Matt, do you ever wonder why we are here? Read into that whatever you like.
I know, I need a pithy comeback for this. I stopped wondering a long time ago. I just gave up on that. I didn't answer that question. You know, my son, I found out on the way here, I got 2 kids. Thanks to my family, by the way, for being here. And supporting me for this entire thing, especially my wife, and who was she was the Dylan Andrews in the beginning. But I found out on the way here that my older son has seen the entire series, seen everything. My younger son had never seen anything from Red vs. Blue at all, and this is his first time seeing any of it.
Oh,
In
there's a few context things you might have to talk about on the way home.
He said in the car, I know that why are we here thing, I know that one. So he gets it.
I'm not going to open that until all but we're going to take another one from the very, very back row there. I believe that is.
Red team or blue team?
You asking me?
Yeah.
Go Red Team!
Yeah, all play.
Blue team.
Red flag.
Red. Red. Oh, am I the only blue team?
I'll take blue.
We got him outnumbered.
All right, that was a short and sweet one. We've got 2 questions side by side. We're going to take them both in sequence. Whoever wants to go first.
Can you talk a little bit about the machinima process and how that's changed over the years?
the machinima process, how it has changed over the years.
Well, in the old days, you know, we would do it, and now Josh and Kyle do it. It is really funny that when we started, it's like we were going to take this video game that was already like pre-rendered, you know, beautiful visuals, and puppeteer with it and turn it into kind of a dumb cartoon. And now we take the software that you use to make a game, but we just make the dumb cartoon instead of making a game, because we have Unreal Engine and stuff like that now. Josh can give a much better answer on this, but it's like we have all the fun tools, you know, of Halo Infinite and like some of the other things, and then we have Unreal and we have Maya, and we just kind of like merge all those things together. So the old days, it was very much just like get your controller out, bob your head, you're done. You know, it really was just puppeteering, digital puppeteering. And now it's like one shot might have like 5 different layers of some machinima, some animation, and some other wacky background thing.
You want to augment that answer?
I mean, it is a lot of more of the movie magic type of thing where we have to think in advance, like what's going to be in the shot. So.
Hello.
But so we have to think about the shot beforehand and be like, what kind of animation is going to be on it, what kind of effects are going to be on it, and we have to augment our machinima, you know, in our current, you know, modern day and age to be like, what are we going to do with this?
Well, one thing that was crazy about this production is everybody had gotten used to working remotely over the pandemic, and so when I came back and, you know, started working with everybody on this, everybody was working from home. And it was weird because, you know, I would give direction, and then Josh or Austin or Kyle would go off and they'd do their scene, and they'd come back, and then we'd talk about it, you know, and change things, and there was always holes and things that had to be filled in later. But at a certain point, I was like, I can't do this anymore, because it was just weird and too distant. And one of the fun things about making Red vs. Blue has always been, we were like playing the game, you know, and being silly. And you always have those moments. I think that Jason's here, he'll remember moments where, you know, somebody drops a grenade while you're supposed to be filming something and the whole set blows up, right? That would happen all the time. So I wanted to get back together, so eventually we did get back together and set up a machinima station at Rooster Teeth in stage 4. And we shot for like, I don't know, 3 months, 4 months, towards the end, like that once a week at least. And so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, the fun thing about machinima though, like no matter how advanced we get, is there's always the factor of just like human error. And even between season 12 to what we just did there, it's like we'd be in the office and somebody might have forgot to put like a pistol down somewhere, and it's just like, fuck, we gotta do everything again. It's like every single year, like that part doesn't get better, but also that's like the part that's like probably the most fun still.
Yeah, no, I only got to be a part of the animation process towards the end and do the motion capture. But the machinima station was outside of my office. So every time I'd leave my office in the last like 3 or 4 months, I would see that. And then to like conversely, I produced a live stream that we did for the 20th anniversary, which was, it was Jeff and it was Gus looking back on it. And we had to dig out the old Xboxes, and we dug out the old ones, and we dug out, again, shout out to the broadcast team, we put a bunch of screens together, and we basically emulated the room, the old room, the green room with all the stuff. We put the posters up and everything. And then Jeff and Gus during the game just started talking about the process that y'all would go through. And it was wild, like to know that like y'all knew that you only had a certain amount of bullets that you could shoot into the wall before it would take it back, or like all these little things. And Gus and Jeff were just stream of conscious talking about the process that y'all had to like work through.
Lighting tricks. And all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and so to be a part of, like, again, to hear that and then see how amazing it was, like, you know, for y'all to do what y'all did for on everything was pretty cool, I think, to show, like, such a wide gap between all of it.
I want to piggyback off that real quick. Every Halo game has weird quirks. I worked in 3 Reach I know I did. I think I worked in all of them, but primarily in Halo 4. And Halo 4 is awful. We don't work with Microsoft anymore, so I can say it. Halo 4's shitty thing is that whenever you move, a character picks up their gun like they're gonna kill someone, and it drove me crazy. I want to know, working in that Halo game, that's Infinite, right?
Yes.
Is that Infinite? What is? Yeah, fair. What is Halo Infinite's weird quirk? Does it have one?
Halo
No, it's
Infinite's
okay. No is an acceptable answer.
It's one of the better ones by far. Yeah, way better than 5 because you didn't have to do it online all the time. I'm trying to think of like the weirdest quirk we encountered because Halo Infinite was great. We could like change the time of day. We had like custom maps, like all those maps that we made. Like everything looked super polished. Yeah, I mean.
It sounds like the best one.
Honestly, yeah, it pretty much is.
There was the one weird quirk when we were in like theater mode or whatever. There was armor that would change randomly.
Yeah, so
And there was I think we actually released a version of a scene or something where Caboose's arms changed all of a sudden mid-shot.
Yeah.
Just because none of us noticed it because it had just popped.
So what'll happen, traditionally what we used to do is like in Halo 4, Halo 3, is we would go in, we would do the actions for the characters, and then we would go back to the theater mode and then set our camera up that way and capture. But then we started shooting live starting with Halo 5, if I remember right. So we started shooting live so that way we'd just be in the actual scene and pick our camera angle, and then we do our actions that way and capture it. There was a few instances within the movie where we wanted to do something where we wanted to use theater mode. So it'd be like, okay, cool, we do this really long, complicated action where somebody's walking like a really, really long distance. Say it's like Sarge walking along a ridge, and it's like, that was beautiful. Let's go back in theater mode, capture the performance. He's blue now. Just
Miles, thanks for putting the final nail in the coffin with Microsoft. Now there's no turning back. Sealed our fate.
You got a lot of bang for your buck out of that question. So let's see the second half of the row 2 question.
This might be a longer question, but I apologize. What was the most valuable thing you learned from creating the company or in the creative process?
Okay, so most valuable thing either in creating the company or the creative process associated.
Well, I'll tell you the phrase that we always said to each other, me, Monty, Burnie, Miles, we would say this a lot, was keep moving forward, and it became like a little bit of a company mantra. And to us, if that meant there's got to be another solution, there's got to be another way to do it, because you are going to run into obstacles that you never expected, like what Josh was talking about, and you just find another way. You just, part of being creative is like using your tools creatively. And Burnie always said about Red versus Blue, it's the only show that could ever be made where you only get to use 7 verbs, right? It's like run, crouch, sit, talk, stand, shoot. It's like very little that you can actually do physically in the game, but you use those limitations to make something new. So I guess let the limitations be your strength and just keep moving forward.
I don't know. We could all play. Should we all play, or should we? Do you guys want to have scintillating additions to this?
The most valuable thing I learned when I made the company. But no, the most valuable thing I learned about Machinima is that it's just this weird amalgamation. It's basically a live action shoot. You go in, you dress the set, you get the actor set up, you get the camera set up, and then you're doing the digital puppeteering, but it's a lot closer to a live action shoot than it is anything animated.
what he said.
For me, again, I come from a world of martial arts and doing fight choreography, but it's a lot of things that are applicable, because being able to talk back and forth, both to the live action department and then or to the animation department, is like, we need to reshoot this, we need to redo this, why, for all, just understanding that creative process is that your end goal is that we have an animatic, especially for this process, like that Matt would show me an animatic, or Dustin would show me an animatic, and he's like, this is what we want to achieve. And just being able to say, I think I can do that physically, as a reference for y'all to go do in Machinima, because there was some things I don't think that they thought me and the people that I was working with could do physically, but I was able to do some of that. And I think it helped, again, the end goal. So just knowing altogether creatively what our end goal is, no matter whether it's live action or it's animation, you have a game plan that you're working towards.
I guess the most, I don't know, whenever you work on something creative like this at this scale, whether it's a short film or video games or whatever, no one director is gonna make like every single decision. It's not like the singular vision, like everybody gets a hand on that ball. Absolutely everybody. I'm trying not to get choked up. It was, I'm floundering here. It couldn't have happened without every single person that was there at every single level. And every time I look at any sort of movie now, I think about all of the people who worked on that project, getting to see it for the first time when it's finally done, and how happy they must be knowing that they did that together. And like, that just makes all movies feel like a warm, fuzzy thing now. And that kicks ass, and I'm glad I got to be a part of it.
So I feel like we could probably roll for another 6 hours, but we do have another movie in this theater, and so we just have time probably for one question if it's short, two questions if it's, no, reverse that, flip that. One question if it's long, two if it's short. Oh, there's somebody really enthusiastic. Do you think he has a good question?
Okay, yes.
I think the gentleman with the great posture, yes, you.
Hi, just a general answer for this could be good.
Okay.
For somebody who's in the industry or just being part of a startup company in production, do you have any advice, things that you've learned on the way that you would want to pass on to people to learn from your mistakes, like anything?
Not necessarily your mistakes, also. But,
just any advice in general.
I mean, your mistakes are as valuable as your successes. So learn from those. I mean, that's really important. Like I said, Burnie and I did a lot of stuff for 9 years together before we got to Rooster Teeth. So, just keep at it.
We're gonna walk this one down.
Let's see. I would say take risks. Because like some of the shots we did, those were a lot of risks. Like the shot where Caboose looks over at Griff, the serial killer shot. I didn't know if that was gonna work. But since we were in office, and when I did it, it made Richard laugh, made Josh laugh. I was like, oh great, it's just awesome. So yeah, to take risks.
Yeah, taking risks, being collaborative. Don't beat yourself up over things like the smaller things, right? And of course, you want to pay attention to details, but at the same time, try to work towards like the bigger picture. And sometimes that actually helps like the entire composition of everything that you're working on. And that's, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and echo all that too, because to me, my version of taking risks is when somebody says, "Can you do this?" And in my head, I'm like, "I don't think so," but it's not what I say. Because if somebody's asking you and presenting you an opportunity, that is the version of taking risks, of saying, I think I can nail that if you give me the opportunity. And I've been in this business for like 20 years now in Austin, and it's a long thing if you want to be in production, but saying yes to projects and opportunities and not, try not to burn bridges is a huge thing.
The last thing you just said, be nice and be respectful.
Wait, you said burn bridges. I think you just burned them.
I don't think the people that worked on Halo 4 are going to be too mad at me over Machinima. But no, be nice and respectful to the people that you work with. Even if you're not like the best at what you do in your field, if you're really nice and easy to work with, people will want to work with you. And if you're a dick, people won't. So that.
Well, I want to say to each and every one of you, thank you for doing what you have done to make Austin a much better place and to leave what I think is an incredible legacy on culture and the arts and creativity and humor. The world is a better place because of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for coming here. Really appreciate it. Free microphone if anybody wants one.
I'm gonna take